little drive in Eliza this morning. It's a very short one. I think it's 40 degrees out. We don't have any windows. But anyway, I got Eliza moved into the big garage and we're getting ready to work on it for the winter. And this dirt floor in here is going to be a problem. It's just so dirty. But I am going to get a few things done and I'll kind of show you what I'm thinking. This video is going to be the 2-year anniversary of the channel. We started this November 20th, 2 years ago. I think November 20th was yesterday as I sat here. And we started that first video with an Eliza video. And that's why most of you are here. And we're going to be working on her quite a bit this winter. And I want to thank all you guys for following along with this project and all the other ones as well. And all the guys that just showed up this year and are new here. I'll show you what my plans are for the winter. Kind of show you the garage too. I've been doing a little more in here. It's heating pretty good now. There she is in all of her glory. Looking good, running good. I like that. I might work on that dent this year. Try to get this big dent out of the fender. That'd be kind of a easy thing to do. I do have to get this welded up right here before I start hammering on it too much. And we get that kind of solid again, see if we can get most of this out. That's the worst place on the car, really. But anyway, I think where I'm going to start, I've been kind of getting some tools out here and trying to get set up. I had this Garnish molding all ready to go when we quit last winter. That's the friction tape piece for the glass for the wing vent. It's all here. Got it painted. This is all had the body work done to it and paint. Got some new stainless screws for it. And there's the rivets. This is the spring that goes down here, but there's a stopper and a nut and I think a washer that I'm missing. And apparently I left it over at the other house. But there's only 1 or 2 places I would have set it, so I'm going to go over there and see if I can find it. And I do have the glass. So I should have everything I need to get this together. So I think that's where we'll start. And then I got this heater. And this thing's actually in pretty good shape. I don't see any dents in it or there's no rust through. Little doors open. That mounts underneath the dash. You would open this door and it would throw heat out this way. Or if you open this door, it would throw heat over towards the driver's side. This one lifts up. That would just put heat directly on the floor. And the heater core is behind that. And the fan just blows through it, you know. That's all pretty straightforward. Until you get to the defroster. That's where things start to get weird. Real weird, actually. The motor on this reverses. There's a squirrel cage. These go up to your defroster. 1 on each side. And there's butterflies in here. It would open and close. That's all pretty standard, kind of. This has got a squirrel cage in it that runs the defroster. And there's fan blades here that blow for the heat. So there's two separate fan blades. This one runs, let me think. If you're looking at it from the front, this fan goes counterclockwise and pushes air this way. While this one's running counterclockwise, this one is running backwards. So it's not pushing any air up towards here. When you want the defrosters to work, you have to reverse the direction of the motor. And that gets these fan blades pulling through the heater core back this way. And then the squirrel cage is running the right direction at that time. And it picks the air up and brings it up. So you've got to be able to reverse the motor. So that's going to take like a 6-position switch with some jumper wires so I can run the motor. It's a 12-volt motor, so you can run it on reverse polarity by changing the fields. But that's a strange setup. It's interesting how they done it. You know, this old stuff, when you look at it, you try to reverse engineer it in your mind and try to kind of figure out what they were thinking. It's quite ingenious, really. But this was made at a time when they were, you know, still trying to figure stuff out. And that's just what they came up with. Cool, really. But anyway, I've been following a thread on the old Ford barn. There's a guy at this moment right now who is rebuilding one of these. And he's been doing posts on it. And he was asking questions, and I told him I was following along, you know, to keep posting so I'd be able to see what he was doing, so I could take that information and apply to mine. And one of the guys on the forum gave him a part number for a 12-volt fan motor that would replace this original one that, you know, would run in 2 directions and fit right in there. So the guy took that part number, he went to Napa, he picked it up, and it did not fit. So he put in the comments and tagged me in it, do not pick up that motor because that one don't work. I gotta figure this out and then I'll let you know. So as soon as he comes back and gets his to work, I'll know what motor I need to get mine to work. And then we're gonna test that heater core and see if it leaks, and paint that thing up a little bit and try to get it in there. New aluminum radiator, that looks good. Anyway, after that heater core is bolted in place, there's a fitting right here coming up out of this head. It's got a valve on it. You can buy these pretty cheap. This one might work. We might try it. If it don't, we'll just put a new one in there. The heater hose comes off of here. Right now it's, somebody before me has just clamped a bolt into a piece of a heater hose. Maybe that valve doesn't shut off quite all the way. I don't think it's shut at all, actually. Well, maybe it is. Hard to tell. But I think the heater hose is supposed to loop around the carburetor and go back in the firewall like this. I think I read that somewhere. And the other heater hose come out of that hole there, and it actually comes down, and you've got to cut a nipple fitting in the hose. You cut a hole in the hose, and then special fitting that hose just tees into that. And I found them fittings on the internet. I'll have to get one of them and then do a little research on where exactly that hole should be cut. And I don't care if we're, you know, factory original, but we'll get it as close as we can. And then the next thing is you got to get a thermostat on each top hose. And the way those worked, the way I understand it, the thermostats just go inside the hoses. And that's another thing I got to look into. I'm not exactly sure how that goes just yet. But we'll figure it out. That's what the internet's for. Internet is for, right? I film all that stuff after I figure out how to do it, put it on a YouTube video, and then the next guy will know how to do it. That's how that works. Great system. Well, I use YouTube a lot anymore to just find out everything, you know. Anyway, garnish molding, heater core. Hey, work on that dent. I'm sure there's other stuff too. I'd like to get the speedometer working. It kind of worked in the beginning, and then it quit working altogether. Joel in North Carolina had sent me a new cable for that. I still had the old original one in it. I'm thinking maybe the cable broke. We'll find out. And then Mart at Mart's Garage on YouTube. He's got a lot of cool stuff on there. But he actually recalibrated a speedometer using magnets. Very interesting what he did. It was amazing, actually quite amazing. I'm going to try to do something like that and see if I can make a kilometer per hour speedometer, because that's what they sent me and I wouldn't take it back. India guys from India selling speedometers on the internet. Anyway, I'm stuck with it. They told me to buy another one. I'd already bought two that didn't work, so we're going to see what we can do with that. Anyway, on the garage, I think when it comes to the garage, first thing I want to do is send a big thank you to Tom for sending me this heater. This thing's working like a champ. It was 34 degrees this morning. I had it up to 61 in here in about a half an hour, and just cycles on and off. It's working great. When I talk about installing that heater hose and saying I don't care if it's factory correct, but we'll get it close, I'm pretty sure 40 Fords didn't really come with heaters anyway. I think it was a dealer option. If you ordered your car and wanted a heater, I think they installed it at the dealership. And this is an actual 40 Ford heater that they would have installed. So this is the correct heater for this car. But I don't think you got a heater unless you ordered a heater back in those days. Kind of like heated seats now, you know. But back then it was heat in general. Anyway, times have changed. Some for the better, some for the worse. But heat is always for the better, because I don't like winter. I get cold, you know. I don't know how much of this I had done in the last video, but this ceiling here I've got insulated. I think I need to get 2 more rows in there. I've got a couple more floor joists to put up. And then this will all be closed in all the way to the front. I'm gonna go to town today and pick up about 3 more rolls of insulation. And I think my next big issue, I think most of my heat loss or cold air coming in is around this garage door. I'm gonna get it adjusted, pulled in a little tighter, and get the seals on it. So I'm gonna pick them up today as well. I get those 2 areas done I just mentioned. The rest of this is getting pretty tight. Then we'll just continue on with insulation. But at least there is plywood up there now. The insulation's about 1/3 of the way done, I'm thinking. This area over in here that was going to be the, the dedicated tool room. It's 12 foot wide, 34 foot long. Me and Colton talked about it yesterday. I said, well, I'll just start and pour this one area right here where the tools and benches and stuff are going to go. It'd make it easier to get the rest of it done if we already had this part done. And that would also give me kind of a clean area here, with concrete, and I could build the benches and shelves and everything and start getting that wrapped up. Just something we talked about yesterday. And then the wife walks out here this morning. She said, you ought to just do it now while Colton's off work. And he's got a buddy that's going to help too. I'm like, yeah, I probably should. And I should do it while she's willing to do it. That's part of the battle right there. Freeing up the money for it. But I'd probably have to spend a week getting this formed up and getting the insulation down and the wire and the tubing and everything. After I got it all ready, I could probably just kind of kick back and let them guys take over, I might take a hand trial and scratch around a little bit, but I'm thinking them 2 guys could probably take it from there. But it's making me think I might ought to just clear this room back out and do that. And then I would at least have one clean area to work on this winter. I don't know yet. I don't know how I feel about that. But I know I don't like working on a dirt floor. I think I've told this story before, but the very first engine swap I ever done, we lived out at a farm and there was a lean-to with a dirt floor just like this one, loose dirt. I pulled a 68 Javelin in there, laid a 4x4 or 6x6 or something across the rafters and hooked a come along to it and changed the motor. You'd have all that tranny fluid and oil and water, antifreeze all over that dirt, and you would get under the car You get up, you might have it caked an inch thick on your elbows, you know. The second engine swap I did was in a 77 Pontiac Le Mans. I still lived at the farm, still a kid. I did that one out in the grass under a tree limb. Much better. These dirt floors suck. And I don't know what it was, but back in them days, like in the 70s and 80s, growing up on a farm, none of these farmers had good workshops back then. I bet that farm I grew up on had 30 different buildings on it. And I don't know if any of them had concrete in them except for the corn cribs. But that's what was important to the farmers, the corn, you know. They didn't care about having concrete in a workshop. But, you know, now all these farmers have these huge heated shops, you know, but back then, none of them seemed to. But this is the first dirt floor I've had since I've been out on my own. I moved into that house on the other side of town. It had like a little 20 by 22 garage, but it did have concrete in it. And then I built the new garage. It had concrete in it. Then I had the concrete in a little garage over there, but now I'm back on a dirt floor. I feel like I'm going backwards, you know? But anyway, we're gonna go to town today, pick up a little more insulation, some garage door seals, and I think probably the next video is probably gonna be doing a little mechanical work on this heater core, garnish molding, or do something with the car. But it's getting warm out here, but I can still get it better. And like right now, we've been having daytime highs like in the 30s and maybe 20s at night, or maybe 30s at night and daytime highs in the 40s. It's starting to get worse than that. I think next week I saw like a low of 17 one night. So I want to try to get this stuff kind of done, you know, but it's not bad. It's not bad. I don't know how to do it 0, but right now it's fine. Just dirty, you know. But anyway, hey, thanks guys for following along. We got the Eliza videos coming up, probably in the next video. And then I'm still collecting parts for the Model T a little bit at a time. And just trying to figure out exactly how to get the motor and tranny hooked together. I'm still debating back and forth whether using a Comet clutch or just trying to use an idler and a clutch pedal. We'll figure it out though. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, thanks for following along, thanks for subscribing. As always, Jeremy, we'll catch you on the next one. Later guys, bye.